Hey, what's up guys, Klein here. So for today, we're gonna talk about one of the most anticipated deck type for BTO6, Red Jesmon. Upon uploading this video, BTO6 is just like 3 days away, and while we are waiting, why don't we look at my initial build for my Red Jesmon deck. Okay, so let's start off with our Digitamas. First, we have the 4 copies of the Demi-Meramon for red. Yes, Demi-Meramon finally enters the red color. And what this Demi-Meramon does is, whenever we attack directly the player, our Digimon gets plus 1000 TP. So this is a really important card if you wanna be aggressive on the early parts of the game. Like for example, you wanna attack with your level 5s or level 4s, then Demi-Meramon will give you that extra 1000 DP so that you can avoid getting deleted by security battles. Okay, so now we're moving on to our rookies. First, we have the 4 copies of a new B206 card, which is one of the Digivolution line of Jesmon. It's Agumon. So what Agumon does is that we get to reveal the top 5 cards of our deck, and then we can add up to 2 Digimon cards with Jesmon, Agumon, or Sistermon on its name. So it's really important because our main goal in this deck is to have our Digimon, to have a level 6 Jesmon, and having Agumon on this deck makes it easier for us to dig up those Jesmons as well as those Agumons and Sistermons. Okay, now we're moving on to our next level 3. We have the ST7 Agumon. So what this Agumon does is basically it's almost the same as the Digitama Demi-Meramon. What Agumon does is whenever we attack a player, our Digimon gets plus 2000 DP. Same with Demi-Meramon, this is just important so that you can hopefully win your security battles whenever you attack with your level 4s or your level 5s. Okay, next on our list are the 3 copies of the Agumon from BTO5. So I included the Agumon from BTO5 because other than Jesmon and the Agumons, I'm actually running some Greymons on this deck because I think most of the Greymons are just they're just standard for red and they are really good cards. That's why I included the BTO5 Agumon so that I can dig up some of those Greymon cards. Okay, now we're moving on to our level 4s. First, we have the 4 copies of Bao Agumon. So this is the level 4 of Agumon. So what Bao Agumon does is it doesn't have any skills, but it does have an ESS. So if you have the Bao Agumon on your Digivolution source, once per turn, whenever we attack and we have a Sistermon on the field, we get to delete one of our opponent's Digimon with 5k or less TP. So Bao Agumon is really good for cases like if your opponent have those 5k DP blockers and you don't have piercing on your Jesmon at the moment. So Bao Agumon can delete those Digimons. Okay, so next on our level 4s, as I've said before, we are running some Greymons. So we have the ST1 Greymon. So what this Greymon does is basically it just gives your Digimon security plus 1 attack if you have him as your Digivolution source. Next on our level 4 list, we have the 4 copies of Geo Greymon from ST7. So this Geo Greymon is a really good card because first, if it gets security checked by your opponent, you can play Geo Greymon for free without paying his memory cost. That's why it's free. And second, whenever we hard play him, we get to delete one of our opponent's Digimon with 4k DP or less. So not only you are playing Geo Greymon for free whenever it's security checked, but as well as whenever it enters the play area, you can just delete one of your opponent's rookie or some of your opponent's level 4 Digimons. So Geo Greymon is a really good card for this deck. Okay, now we're moving on to our level 5s. First, we have the 4 copies of Savior Agumon. So Savior Agumon is another Jesmon Digivolution line, and his effect is whenever we Digivolve into our Savior Agumon, we may play one of our Sistermons from our hand onto the battlefield without paying their cost. So Savior Agumon is just a value card if you want to play your Sistermons for free. Another thing is if we have Savior Agumon on our Digivolution source, whenever we are attacking and we have a Sistermon on play, then we get to unsuspend this Digimon. So we can do multiple attacks with security plus damage if we have a, for example, Saber Agumon plus a Greymon on our Digivolution source. Okay, now we're moving on to our last level 5s. We have the 4 copies of Voltramon from BTO4. So Voltramon, it's here simply the same reason as the ST1 Greymon. It simply just gives us a security plus 1 attack. Okay, now we're finally moving on to our level 6s. First, we have the premier card for this deck list. We have the 4 copies of Jesmon. So what Jesmon does is, whenever we are attacking with him, we can play a Sistermon on its name from our hand or trash without paying its memory cost. So do take note though that this is not once per turn only. So if you have a Saber Agumon on your ESS and then you get to attack twice with Jesmon, you can play up to 2 Sistermons from your hand or from the trash onto the field without paying the memory cost. Another thing is that once per turn, whenever we play another Digimon, this Digimon gets plus 3000 DP and gains piercing. So if we attack with Jesmon and then we freely play our Sistermon, then the second effect of Jesmon automatically triggers. So it doesn't matter if your opponent has those pesky blockers, and it also doesn't matter if your opponent has those beefy level 6s which are 13 or 12Ks, because Jesmon gets buffed and has piercing whenever we play another Digimon on your turn. Okay, now we're gonna move on to our next level 6. We just have the 2 copies of Shine Greymon from ST7. So I really like this Shine Greymon because first, of course, it has security plus 1 attack without any requirements. But the most reason that I included this Shine Greymon on this decklist is because of its piercing. So yes, it costs 4 to digivolve into our Shine Greymon ST7, but that security plus 1 attack and piercing is a really good effect if you just wanna keep on putting pressure on your opponents. Okay, now let's move on to our level 7. I included some level 7s on this decklist. We have the 2 copies of the BTO1 Omnimon. So I chose this Omnimon versus the BTO5 Omnimon with Blitz because I really like the removal effect of the BTO1 Omnimon, as well as we are kind of doing multiple attacks with Jesmon if you have Saber Agumon on your ESS, and then if you digivolve into Omnimon, you can also do another multiple attack. So Omnimon BTO1 is a really good card, not only for defensive purposes as well as offensive ones. Okay, so now we're moving on to our next Digimons. We have our Sistermon, Sistermon Blank, and Sistermon Noir. So if you have noticed, I didn't include any blockers on this deck list because we have the Sistermon Blank. So what she does is, whenever we have a Agumon or a Royal Knight on its type, then all of our Digimon with Sistermon on their name gains blocker. So it means that this 6 Sistermons will become blocker if we have Sistermon Blank and a Agumon or a Jesmon on the field, or even an Omnimon. So we can really utilize the level 4 slot for the for this deck list because there are tons of good level 4 red cards, and having Sistermon Blank not only activates your Jesmon lines effects, but as well as she can be a blocker herself. So another thing is, with Sistermon Blank, whenever we play him, we get to trigger draw plus 1, and any card game, drawing cards is always good. Okay, let's move on to our next Sistermon. We have Sistermon Noir. So Sistermon Noir is another Sistermon wherein all turns, our Digimon with Agumon or Royal Knight on their type gets plus 2000 DP. So it buffs up Jesmon into 13k on all turns, so that you can avoid getting beaten by 12k DP Digimon. So Sistermon Noir does a really good job on just beefing up your Jesmon and even your Omnimon on all turns. Another thing is, if we play Sistermon Noir, we get to gain 1 memory. So Sistermon Noir is a pseudo 3 cost Digimon. Okay, so now we're moving on to our option cards. First, we have the single copy of Mega Digimon Fusion. So back in BTO5, you actually have to play some white tamers so that you can play this option card because it's a white option card. But now, since we have the Sistermons, which only cost 3 and 4 to hard play, Mega Digimon Fusion just had an upgrade. So if you need those crucial free Digivolving into your Omnimon BT01 because you have to delete some of your opponent's Digimon and attack twice at the same turn, Mega Digimon Fusion does a really good job on that. Okay, next on our option card list, we have the staple option card for red, 2 copies of Gaia Force. I wanted to include at least 4 copies of Gaia Force, but we have so many cards already, Digimon cards already on this deck list that we can squeeze in 2 more copies of Gaia Force. So those 2 copies can come in handy whenever you just want to remove some of our problematic Digimons of your opponent. And having Gaia Force on your security as a security card is a very clutch card, especially if you are about to lose and then you security check a Gaia Force, then the tides have been turned. So Gaia Force is a really staple card for red decks. Okay, lastly on our list, we have the 2 copies of our Tamer, BT01 Taikamiya. So this Taikamiya, I included him because we really need that generic Tamer skill wherein we always start our memory counter at 3 if we have 2 or less memory. And having that extra security +1 attack is actually good if you have your, let's say, a Jesmon and your ESS is your Savior Agumon. So you have security plus attack with 2 attacks and piercing. So Taikamiya is a really good tamer for this deck list. The playstyle of this deck list is that whenever you have your Jesmon, you can put tons of pressure on your opponents, just simply because having multiple attacks with security plus attack is a really good way to pressure your opponent. As a bonus, Jesmon has piercing, so it doesn't really matter much if your opponent do have tons of blockers, because both your level 6s like Jesmon and the Shine Greymon from ST7 does have piercing. Another thing is we can actually swarm our opponents with Sistermons because we can freely play them with our Savior Agumon or your Jesmon whenever he attacks. So not only we are doing security plus attack, we are also swarming our opponent just in case they have, just in case we are finally swimming for the win. Do remember that we can't win with piercing. If our opponent has zero security pile and then we are trying to win with piercing, it won't directly attack the player. So having multiple Digimons at the end game is actually good for this deck. And that's it for today's video, guys. If you love the deck list or love the content, please do subscribe to the channel. I also have a Facebook page at Sabercline. And if you have any comments or suggestions regarding my deck list or you want to add something on my deck list, please do comment them down below on the comment section. That's it for today, guys. Till next time, peace out.